Hello to all my beautiful kings and queens out there. Thank you for tuning back into my channel. I'm here today to talk about a very difficult topic. I have tried to film this video about 3 to 4 times, and at first I was getting very frustrated with the fact that I couldn't finish it and just push the video out. But then I started to do some reflection and realized that maybe my spirit was pushing me to be fully transparent with how I feel and not try to censor what I'm saying or sugarcoat things so that I can try to appeal to the masses of people. And I really feel like my spirit just had to let me know, like, it's already a difficult subject to talk about. It's already something that's touchy and many people feel different ways about it, but you should be able to be vulnerable enough to express your situation and your perspective of how everything went or how you feel or anything like that. So here I am for the 4th, 5th, or 6th time to sit down and try to actually finish this video. And so today, I want to talk about my experience with the Black community. For most of my life, I feel like until recently, when I've started to do a lot of healing and have a change in perspective on things, I have felt a disconnect from this unity and community that I hear a lot of Black people talk about. And it's very unfortunate, and I don't want to put it in a way of like, oh, like I feel like all Black people hate me or all this thing like that, because I don't know everyone. I can just only speak from the experiences that I have had. And I can't say that every experience that I've had is bad, because there are some Black people that I'm very close to and that have had a positive impact on my life, and some that are not blood, but I consider my family. But just in my journey and my mind and my perspective, those have not been, I don't even want to discredit them, because they have been what they've been. And honestly, those have been the beacons of light to push me in a direction of healing and trying to figure out why I don't feel so connected to a community that I should feel connected to, I guess, or like that is said to supposed to be unified or whatever. There's a lot of narratives out there. But since being young, a kid, I don't know the age. I don't want to go into all the detail of everything, but I know since from being young, I've always felt apart when I step into a room full of Black people, or when I've gone to school and I've seen the Black crowd of popular kids, or even just a Black crowd of Black people. It just has never been a comfortable place for me, and I've always felt a sense of judgment of, am I Black enough? Do I know the slang? Do I listen to the right music that everybody listens to? Or do I dress the correct way that allows you to fit in with that group of people? And unfortunately, I had many experiences where I didn't fit. I wasn't cut from that same cloth, and I didn't fit that mold of the typical thing that that the group was looking for. And so I ended up getting made fun of because I wasn't that, or I just was never included. And it's funny because I always knew the people or knew of them, and sometimes they knew of me in some type of weird way, but it was just never a connection that could be formed because I didn't meet their criteria. And of course, everybody's story is different and everybody has their own perspective, and I'm just strictly speaking from my perspective. Every time I've encountered just crowds of Black people or groups of Black people, it's not there. And I don't feel a sense of welcomeness or unity or like, oh, that's my brother, that's my sister type of thing that I see online or that I see people talking about or articles talking about. And, I do wish that I could feel that way, but I just don't. And I have my own personal experiences with, like, of course, I have a Black mother and a Black father who's never been present in my life. And then I've also had the misfortune of being let down by my mother, who is a Black woman, which was very instrumental in my view as well of Black people, because it's just like my own mother who's Black let me down, and I don't even have a good relationship with her. And then also like having my grandmother who's a Black woman who's supposed to be like this pillar of the family and things like that, and she's not good, and she just tears her whole family down. It's just there's just not been a good example set as far as like women that I have viewed as very top tier and instrumental in my life. I just had that letdown. And I have been blessed enough to experience a Black woman who ended up being a light of beacon for me, which I'm very grateful for, because I know not everybody has that. But it's just like, it's kind of that thinking of it's only this one person, and you know how we tend to think about the bad things, but before just being grateful and thinking of, okay, I have this one good thing, let me just focus on that, kind of focus on the bad. So that was kind of my mindset. And so I've just navigated my way of avoiding Black people. And every now and then I would come into contact with certain people, and, my experience would either be good or bad. It just depends on the situation. I've had some good experiences, I've had some bad experiences, but it never changed my view of like, yeah, like I don't have this sense of community that I see other people have of like, I want to like, oh, I know my community is unified. I know I can go in a room full of Black people and feel comfortable and feel like these are my people. I've never had that feeling. And honestly, for a long time in my life, I've avoided situations of being in big groups of Black people because I just completely feel uncomfortable. And I'm very much a deep diver and a reflector, and I don't want that to always be my story, especially in this new day and age where people are feeling vulnerable enough to express how they're feeling or express their side of things. And I just felt it was time for me to express this side of me so that I can move on and heal and get a new perspective and just shed off that idea within me, because yes, I've experienced those things from certain crowds or certain groups of people, but I don't want that to always be the narrative. And I want to talk about this so that I can move past and heal and even possibly have a better experience than I've had. But also I want to release that perspective within myself of always thinking that, oh, every Black person is bad, or I have to be super cautious of every Black person because they're gonna judge me on the way I look or how I dress, or if I listen to this music or that music. Or I feel like it was very much time for me to be confident, not confident, be bold enough to express my vulnerability around the situation and be open and candid about how I feel. And I have gotten to a certain point in my healing journey where I've realized that certain situations that I have experienced were definitely a part where I played in it because of my perspective. I only seen those situations through a lens of being guarded and cautious when I did enter a room with certain people and I didn't know their intentions. And so I could have possibly had a different experience in certain events where they could have been good and I could have experienced something positive, but my mindset has always been on this one thing of I'm gonna be judged in this way, or I'm not gonna be deemed worthy enough to be Black enough for this group of people to hang out with them or feel welcomed or feel unified with them. So I definitely know, like, I've played a part in that, and I've definitely worked on that side of myself where I've gotten to a point where I'm open enough to realize, like, okay, like I'm shaping this perspective of the situation, and I need to change that so that I can be open enough to receive a group of people or a person that has good intentions and isn't like that. I have to give them the chance to show that to me first before I just automatically deem them that way. And so not feeling separated from Black people and not immediately feeling cautious of being around Black people. I can say recently that I have had a good experience. I started working at a place and there were a good amount of Black people there, and I had a really good experience with them. Like, I didn't feel that sense of separation that I usually would feel if I had encountered in a different time and day. And that's probably because I've been doing my own work and I've healed a lot of things within myself. But I also think that they were just genuinely nice people, and I was open enough to allow myself to experience them and who they truly were, so that I could have a good experience with them. I feel like there's a different word I want to say, but I can't figure it out right now. So yeah, I finally don't feel the burden of feeling embarrassed or scared and fearful to speak on what I'm speaking on because of the attention or people misunderstanding, or the same thing happening where a bunch of Black people see this and be like, oh, she doesn't want to be a part of our community, or she's bashing our community, and yada yada yada. I feel like I've finally gotten to a place where I let go of that fear of hearing that or receiving that, and I'm just being open and raw and expressing how I've felt and how I'm transitioning out of feeling that way, and hoping that I get to experience Black people in a new way, in a new light, and get to build a community with Black people, even other people, not just Black people, but build up a community of people that I don't feel apart or detached from because of my past experiences. leave a comment and let me know if you have this type of experience, if you've ever felt this way, or if you've had a positive experience and you've never had to question or feel like you've ever been a part of your community and in a way of being judged or whatever it is. I would definitely like to know your stories. Of course, I always say be respectful. You know, everybody has a different perspective, and that is okay. You don't have to bash someone for thinking differently or sharing a different side of things. Just listen to what they have to say. That's it. And you don't have to accept it. You just let them be them. So yeah, definitely like the video if you like it, and subscribe if you want to see more of what I'm bringing to the table. I thank you for tuning in and giving me your space and time, and I will see you in another video. Thank you.